Razor-thin laptops, smarter TVs, tech-savvy cars, all of the year's best gadgets and gizmos are being showcased this week at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, the largest technology trade show in the world. Our editor-at-large, Corey Johnson, is on the ground right now getting a preview of the hottest stuff. We'll see some of it coming up, and I'll be live from Vegas here on Bloomberg West starting tomorrow. So what's everyone waiting for? Ultrabooks, thinner and lighter laptops, tablets. Toshiba just announced one that's even thinner than the iPad, and internet-connected TVs. Samsung has introduced TVs with voice and motion control. LG just announced what it's calling the world's thinnest TV. One tech giant, though, will be conspicuously absent, and that is Apple. Apple historically does not present at CES, yet still gets all the buzz as the rest of the pack tries to catch up to the MacBook Air, the iPad, and the iPhone. In one recent survey, 54% of consumers who plan to buy a phone in the next 3 months will be getting an iPhone, compared to just 13% for Samsung and 7% for Motorola. Most new products will be unveiled at CES starting tomorrow, but Vegas is already buzzing with press conferences and previews. For more on what we can expect this week, let's head out to Las Vegas, where the senior editor of Wired Magazine, John Bradley, joins us now via Skype. John, great to see you. I'm sure you've been working your way through some of the introductions. What's the coolest thing you've seen so far?
Probably the coolest thing I've seen is a technology called Toby, which is an eye tracking technology that lets you control video games, Windows, any computers just using your eyes. It's, I was skeptical, but it really seemed like a potentially game-changing technology.
Interesting, and I know Intel has announced a partnership with Nuance about voice control for Ultrabooks. Have you seen some of these Ultrabooks so far? What are they looking like to you as a product category, a new category?
I have. It's a really strong category. There's a lot of legitimate momentum behind that. I think, last year people were talking about 3D TVs and new tablets, and a lot of that turned out to be kind of vaporware. But Ultrabooks are strong and growing, and I think the products you see announced here are actually going to make it to market, which didn't always happen last year. And there's some really sharp stuff. Lenovo, Toshiba, Vizio, I think, had caught a lot of people off guard today with some really stunning designs in their Ultrabooks.
So do you think, John, that Ultrabooks can become a category of their own outside of laptops, outside of tablets?
I do. I think they're just going to, in another couple of years, this is just what we'll be calling laptops. I think, traditional laptops, as we think of them now, will sort of replace what we think of as desktops, which will be more of the power users, video editing, sound editing, and people who are buying laptops today will be buying Ultrabooks. They're lighter, they're almost as fast, they can do 99% of what people need them to do.
How about internet-connected TVs? I know a lot of manufacturers are announcing partnerships with Google TV. Samsung is announcing a new Super OLED TV. Can these televisions really take off, even though 3D TVs didn't?
I think so. I mean, that technology is not going away. Still, the number one differentiator for TVs is picture quality, and that's not changing anytime soon. But I think it's foolish to make a TV now that's not connected. It's foolish not to buy one that's connected. I think, the infrastructure hasn't quite caught up yet. People don't really understand them that much. But they are getting a whole lot better. And then, with the OLED screens that are coming out as well, the picture quality is certainly beyond what anybody could have imagined a couple of years ago. But I think the connected TVs, there is something there once there's a little bit of convergence in the interfaces. And I think voice and gesture controls will help that a lot.
Now, talking about sort of the curse of CES, a lot of products that normally get a lot of hype haven't panned out. 3D TVs, as you mentioned. Anything out there that you think right now is being overhyped?
Excuse me. Not now, please. I apologize. I'm in my hotel room here. Overhyped? Not this year. I think last year we did have a lot of overhyping of 3D TVs and tablets as people were looking for some storylines. This year, that seems to be a little bit more muted. People were aware that things were promised last year that didn't come to fruition. Part of that was that people couldn't produce what they promised. A lot of that was that consumers weren't buying it. This year, expectations are a little bit more muted, so I don't think we'll see products announced here not coming to market the way we did last year.
A lot of tablets announced last year didn't really take off. Have you seen anything yet that could be a legitimate competitor to the iPad?
Yeah, I think Vizio's tablet that was announced today looks really sharp. It doesn't look like a Me Too device. It's got more squared edges. It's a really sharp-looking tablet. I think you'll start seeing a lot of the quad-core CPUs in these running a lot faster than even the iPad 2 is right now. Of course, we're all anticipating the iPad 3. But yeah, I think on the hardware side, there are some legitimate competitors coming out of this now that will come to market.
How about connected cars? I know Ford's there, Mercedes-Benz. Are we at a point yet where cars really are becoming truly tech-savvy, or is there still a long way to go?
Both. I think they're very tech-savvy now. I think really the hurdle there isn't so much getting them to do more and more, but figuring out how to make that a safe environment. There's some really compelling stuff there, but one of the tricks is figuring out which capabilities to disable when somebody's driving. And again, a little bit of convergence there, because every time you buy a new car, you have to relearn an entirely new system. Isn't always so appealing. But yeah, I think that's something that's here to stay, and Ford especially is making a really big push in that area.
And Apple is not there, as usual. To what extent is a lot of the stuff you're seeing a reaction to Apple trying to catch up to Apple's products?
It's funny. I think when you talk about tablets and Ultrabooks and laptops, everything is playing catch up with Apple. And that's, people are even acknowledging that. I saw an interview today with the chief marketing officer of Samsung acknowledging challenges from Apple. But what's funny is, when you see Samsung and LG debuting these beautiful, luscious pictures, smart TVs, they're anticipating an Apple TV that doesn't even exist yet. So Apple has moved the conversation so much that people are trying to catch up with devices they haven't even launched yet, which is a unique situation I've never seen before, but that's just the power of Apple.
Steve Jobs said he cracked the code for TV, and everybody is wondering what that means. Senior editor of Wired magazine, John Bradley, thanks for joining us from CES in Las Vegas.